If you're a big Caitlin Clark fan, there is a lot of stuff in here that she has said in other interviews.
What just happened on Netflix is sending shockwaves through the sports world.
Number one in your heart, Caitlin Elizabeth Clark.
Get your order.
Whatever you want, it's on him.
Yeah.
You're my opponent.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, it's Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. What are we gonna do?
Oh my gosh.
I spent 2 days with her and was not hugged.
And I gotta say, I don't think Caitlin Clark gets enough credit for her humor because this episode was riddled.
Caitlin Clark, the face of women's basketball, the rookie sensation, the walking headline, sat down with David Letterman and dropped a truth bomb that no one saw coming. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't PR approved, it was raw, real, and absolutely shocking.
She seemed pretty humbled by the gesture, and she basically was saying she never expected to get where she was. She never expected to see people wearing her jersey, and she actually exceeded all her own expectations.
Everyone's ready.
For the first time, Caitlin opened up about the truth behind her WNBA experience, what's really happening behind the scenes, and what the 2025 season is shaping up to be. And trust me, it's not what fans expected. She got personal, she got emotional, and she finally said what everyone else has been too afraid to admit.
The practice session has taken on near mythological proportions in the 5 years since it was played in Iowa City. ESPN's Wright Thompson wrote about it for a March 2024 profile of Clark, talking to teammates, coaches, and student managers who witnessed the performance.
This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about pressure, power, respect, and what it really takes to survive in a league that's been waiting for her and ready to test her. What she revealed about her future and the league's is more than serious. It's a warning. Let's break it all down.
She's preparing for a revolution.
From the moment Caitlin Clark appeared on Netflix with David Letterman, fans could feel it. This wasn't going to be your typical sit-down interview. The laughs were there. The charm was on full display, but underneath all of it, there was something deeper.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
For the first time, Caitlin wasn't speaking as the WNBA's newest star or as the viral college phenom.
It's not personal.
She was speaking as a real person, stripped of cameras and game lights, finally sharing the weight of what it means to carry the league's future on her back. And the story she told, they were raw, personal, and stunningly honest. She talked about the pressure, not just to win, but to represent. Every arena she walks into, every headline that mentions her name, every kid in the stands wearing her jersey, it all builds up. She admitted that while the fame looks glamorous from the outside, the reality is often overwhelming.
She said my jersey! I'm so happy, I'm crying, I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT!
There's no manual for how to navigate being the most watched rookie in WNBA history. And then came the biggest reveal, what the 2025 season could really look like. Not just for her, but for the entire league. She hinted that what's happening behind the scenes in the WNBA is a lot more intense than what fans see on the court. From the level of physicality to the mental battles that never make it to highlight reels, Caitlin painted a picture of a league that's fighting to evolve, and she's right in the middle of that transformation. She didn't call anyone out by name, but she didn't have to. The message was clear. The WNBA is changing fast, and not everyone is ready for what's coming.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know, us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
The next season, it's not going to be like any season before it. The expectations, the media pressure, the rivalries brewing in the shadows, they're all reaching a boiling point. She even opened up about the emotional toll, sharing stories from her college days where she let the pressure get to her, where she walked off the court in frustration, overwhelmed not by failure, but by her own impossible standards. And that fire,
Caitlyn's role
it's still burning,
play ball.
but now she's learning to control it, to lead through it.
Number one factor in her popularity is her ability and how entertaining she is to watch. That's why she's become internationally popular. That's why the record books have her name at the top of them.
Because in her words, if you're not ready to grow, you're not ready for this league. That's what the Netflix moment made clear. Caitlin Clark isn't just preparing for a new season. She's preparing for a new era. And the 2025 WNBA season, it's going to be the storm she's been training for. But what really stunned fans and critics alike was what Caitlin Clark revealed about how the league is treating her and how the pressure she's under is unlike anything the WNBA has ever seen before. She finally addressed the elephant in the room. Is she being targeted? The hard fouls, the trash talk, the constant pushback from players, fans, and even the media. And Caitlin didn't dodge it. She looked straight into the camera and told the truth.
Laser focus.
No, she doesn't believe it's personal. Yes, it's real. She explained that what she's facing isn't about vendettas. It's about respect. The WNBA is filled with veterans who fought tooth and nail for their spot in a league that only has 144 roster spots.
Caitlin Clark got asked about this by David Letterman.
We have a practice team. That's just all.
I think the key is this squad was down by 15 to these guys, and they came back and won it.
When a young superstar walks in with record-breaking fame, million-dollar endorsements, and national headlines, you better believe she's going to be tested. And Clark knows it. That's why she's been spending the off-season bulking up, physically and mentally. She's not just here to play cute highlight reel ball. She's preparing for war, for elbows in the paint, shoulder checks, double teams, and trash talk that gets personal. She even opened up about a powerful conversation with her coaches back at Iowa. How in moments of frustration, she used to isolate herself, walking off the court to avoid blowing up. But her coaches challenged her. That's not leadership. And now with that same fire inside her, she's learning how to turn frustration into focus and tension into control. What's more telling? The way other WNBA players are responding. The veterans, the critics, the rivals, they've all got something to say. Some claim she flops too much. Others say she hasn't earned the hype. One even said, "This is the pros. We're not giving out handshakes."
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
And through it all, Clark is still rising. But what she dropped in the Netflix interview hints at a deeper truth.
Clark isn't just prepping
for the 2025 season won't be just about basketball.
And the
It'll be about survival. She knows that every game will be a test. Every move will be magnified. And every time she hits the floor, there will be people waiting for her to fall. And that's exactly why Caitlin Clark is becoming more dangerous than ever. Because she's not just proving she belongs in the league. She's proving that this league needs her to evolve.
It's not personal.
Now here's where everything shifts. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just speak about herself.
This isn't about grudges.
She spoke about the entire future of the WNBA and what she said about the 2025 season. It's bigger than any game, any stat line, or any viral highlight.
Prevailing narrative that has been created around this season's WNBA play is that it's the league versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity could take it to the next level.
There's a method to this madness. When given a chance to talk about Caitlin Clark, they're always going to racialize it and try to demonize Caitlin Clark's fan base.
Monica has figured out a way to make the WNBA relevant and profitable long term. The lady from the BBC, she seems to be asking Monica McDougal how the WNBA can maintain their momentum from last season. There's an easy answer to that question. More than likely, they can't.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Where are these Angel Reese fans? When I see Chicago Bravado games on TV, the only things I see are missed layups and empty seats.
Caitlin tried to flop. She tried to flop on what happened. Like, that little shoulder bump, it was not that serious. Okay, Caitlin, I need you to be all the way serious and for real, okay? You fell down, the first thing you did is, woo! And you look to the damn ref to give you what? That's what happened. That's what she always does, right? She's always falling to the floor and then people acting like it's mad hard. Pay attention to what she did in college. That is what she did. She's from the LeBron school, the Luka school, the Harden school. They try to sell fouls, right? I would say that her coach did not do a good job preparing her for the physicality of what was to come and what to expect in the WNBA. So yeah, I'm kind of saying like, this is not that deep. It's a little hip check.
For me, if Rookie of the Year was picked today, I give it to Angel.
What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league.
We saw what happened last year. Caitlin Clark was targeted.
Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical.
I know what physical basketball looks like.
Like, Caitlin Clark doesn't happen entirely organically. There's a push. What Angel Reese did, she created what people truly need, which is a rivalry.
Angel Reese has done that and did that for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. And I do think she helped. Without Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark wouldn't be as big as she is.
Caitlin Clark also blew up before the Angel Reese thing. That is a myth. She blew up before. Go look at the ratings for the games before then. Go look at the attendance for the games before then. It was already an organic thing.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it. If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
I set the record in 5 games, right?
Yeah.
Because back then, we had a first-round bye. So we didn't get to play, I didn't get that 6 games. So I set the record in 5 games.
Look at her extra game.
Well, I'm just saying.
You didn't say that.
No, listen. If I have 6 games,
the record's different.
well, I'm gonna have another 30. But I don't really care what the record is, who has the record.
$1 deals
Clark
and
called it out
nonstop
directly.
headlines. Of course,
The league is
she's
at a
going to be
crossroads,
tested, and
and her
Caitlin knows
role,
it. That's
it's
why
not
she's
just
been
to play
grinding hard in the
basketball,
offseason,
it's to be the
getting
catalyst for
stronger
what's coming
physically
next.
and mentally.
She talked about
She's
what's
not here
really
for just
happening
pretty
behind the
plays
scenes,
and viral
how the
highlights.
WNBA
She's
is
gearing up for
evolving
the elbows,
fast,
the shoulder
but
checks,
not without
the double
resistance.
teams, and the trash
There are
talk
players who
that's going to
love
come
the
with
spotlight she
territory.
brings,
Caitlin
and others who
even
resent
reflected
it.
on advice
There
from
are
her Iowa
coaches leaning into her
how she once
marketability,
dealt with frustration
and others
by
who are trying to
shutting
knock
down
her
and
off
isolating,
balance.
and
And through
how
it
they
all,
challenged her
the
to
league
channel it into
itself is
leadership
trying to figure
instead.
out how to handle
That
a player
lesson is
who's
shaping
more
her
famous
now more
than the
than
game
ever.
itself.
The reaction
But
from
Caitlin's
around the
message
league
was clear.
speaks volumes.
She's
Some
not
players
backing
say
down.
she
She
flops
knows the
too much.
2025
Others
season
say she
will be
hasn't
even
earned
more
her
intense.
spotlight.
The
One
fouls will
bluntly
be
said,
harder.
This is
the matchups will be personal.
No one's handing
the rivalries will be louder.
Through all the criticism,
but she's not afraid of any of it. She's ready to set the tone. She even hinted at the role media is playing, how narratives are spun, how every moment she's involved in is turned into controversy. From trash talk with Diana Taurasi to whispers of locker room jealousy, Caitlyn sees it all. And yet, her answer? Focus.